What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the latest Inflight200 releases from August and through mid-September of 2025. It's been a little over a month since my last Inflight200 release video, so might as well get a new one going for this point in time. So we're back on the Waffle Collectibles website, and you can see that we do have a good handful of them to cover, good handful of announcements on the Waffle newsletter, at least the one on the website, because a majority of what he does post doesn't go on here, because he's got a big collection sale going on. He's on like round 40, I think. They had like a 5,000 or 7,500, I don't know the exact number, but it was a really big 1 to 400 collection. Have not gotten anything out of it because I just don't have the funds right now. I need to like just hold tight on everything. But I think Black Friday is going to be a good time for me to get a large order in. So anyway, let's take a look at the announcements from August 10th, and we'll start off with the first two down there at the bottom. We have Air Force One. This is the VC, I think it's like a 123A. This is the exact model number that they have. VC 137, okay. So yeah, the 707 modified for Air Force One, which was used up until around the 70s, I think. I don't remember exactly what administration was the first to use the current Air Force One plane. KLM Electra in here, and also an Iberia A300. Ooh, I see a Jelly Bean down there, Braniff International 720. This is the blue color specifically. They label it as a dark blue, which doesn't really appear like a dark blue. It's more of like a standard blue, maybe close to a sky blue, at least in my opinion. We have an ex-Western Airlines, American Airlines 737-200. Noted by that registration, November 4501 Whiskey. And that one's got a production photo like that Iberia, so that one must already be produced. We have the Nevada Battleborn America West 757-200, November 9015 Alpha Whiskey with no price tag on it. And it just redirects me back to the main page, so obviously that link is broken. We have a United 753 Evo Blue. Miat Mongolian 7879 with an Irish registration, so I presume it's a leased airframe. United DC-8, very nice. November 89er71 uniform, and an Alitalia example down below that. Very old school liveries there, and that is the stars and bars on that United example. Should have DC-8 friendship titles, which, yes, it does. Royal Air Force A330 MRTT. Registration of Zulu 335. Novspace A300. This is that zero-G aircraft where they do a bunch of fun flying. You can go inside, get on board, and then they do some acrobatics in the air or whatever to make it feel like you're flying in space. Air Inter. I didn't know they had A330-300s. I mainly know them as the airline that had the Dassault Mercure, which was the small, or not necessarily small, but it was a passenger plane that they built, and I think it was the only one that they built because it ultimately did not prove successful, and I think Air Inter was the only operator of this type. So yeah, I didn't know that they had more to them. Definitely want to look more into that airline. And then a DHL, a 777-200 freighter with a British registration. So that caps off the first set of pre-orders. This was the August 10th list, as I mentioned. And then there is one from August 21st that we will take a look at. There's some Phoenix pre-orders in this, which I have previously covered. Always trying to stay one step ahead and get all those releases covered. As soon as I see them available somewhere, I'll get a video made on them. So here's the August 21st batch. There's a Silk Air 737-800. Might be a special livery of some sort, which it is. 25th anniversary. Very nice. All the way from Singapore. Then we have a Ryanair 737-800 with splits. This one might have a special sticker also, which it looks like it has a couple small ones, but I can't really distinguish what they are, and it doesn't specify on the listing. A couple old Lufthansas in here. There's a 727-200 in the old colors, and then the 737-200 in the, what is now the previous livery, but still very current. And then this does not have a photo, but this is the Qantas 7879 Victor Hotel Zulu India November. And I would assume, yeah, that this should just be a standard livery, so nothing too different there. Hainan Airlines 737-300, so we got a couple Chinese carriers in here. as we also have a China Eastern example below that. Wuhan Airlines also making an appearance. And then we have a CAAC, Shan Y10, is that what that is? It doesn't say manufacturer, but oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen a Y10. It looks like a 707 almost, but it has the cockpit, which kind of reminds me of, I want to say like an Airbus A340 mixed with a 707 kind of. It looks, honestly doesn't look too much different from like a 707. I imagine it's got to be the same build. It has the same engines, the JT3Ds. But yeah, very interesting. Never seen that type before, so that is new to me. And then there's a second one down below, a sister ship registration. Star Alliance Air China 737-800. And then we have a Shandong Airlines 738. This is their 100th 737. So just like NG, we do have a heavy focus on Chinese carriers. Then we have Hebei Airlines, and also a China Southern 732, so old school aircraft there. And then an Air China example below that. And then we finally move away from Asia as we round out this batch with a British Airways A320, also with a production photo, and those 732s, of course, also have them. So that is the second batch. I'm going to head on to the main page here, and there is, well, September 20th, the day I'm making this video, just like that, there is a new batch, so good timing on my part. There's a bunch of YYHX wings. There's another one of these mini brands that's been popping up lately, and they have been making a bunch of wide bodies. They have like Korean Air, Lufthansa, Cathay Pacific, China Eastern, Singapore. There's a whole bunch of them in here. It's like they made every registration too, which is kind of funny to me. There's still more. And then there's also one random AB400 arrival, because why not? That's that Candy Jet Sanrio Characters EVA Air 333. Got a KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, BAC 111 Series 300 in here. Very old livery on that bird. Then we got a KC 135 with a special tail design on it. This is named the Salty Dogs. Larger preview doesn't work for some reason, but that is the name that we have there. Dan Air London A300, and also a Qantas example in here. Very nice. ITA Airways A321 Neo. Might be, I don't think it's an XLR, but the registration does seem like something that they would have on a XLR here. So let me just do a quick Google search on one of my other devices. Yeah, it looks like it's labeled as an LR, so yeah, there we go. I figured that was not just a standard Neo. Got a Continental Meatball 737-100 in here. Red meatball livery. Ansett Australia 733. Rio Seoul 735. Never heard of this airline before. And they are from, of course, Brazil, as indicated in the registration. Looking good. U.S. Air Force 753. Okay, we got another random fantasy plane in here, because why not? Yeah, that would certainly be something if Air Force 2 was a 757-300 instead of a 200. So, yeah, interesting fantasy plane there. Aeromexico DC-863 with the old orange livery with an American registration to boot. Ryanair 111 Series 500. We also have a JAL 333, and this is a non-ER, 777-346. Swiss Air DC-10, and that's the last of this batch. All right, coming back here real quick, since I actually missed this while I was recording, and I realized while editing that I did miss a batch of Inflight200 pre-orders from August 29th, so I do want to hit up on those real quick. Had a big Gemini Jets blowout sale last month, so there is what will be the fourth batch in this video, so pretty large Inflight200 reaction. KLM A330-300, this one with the droop of the blue livery. And I think this one might be it's the earlier iteration, since some of the newer aircraft have that blue that goes all the way down the nose radome. And then Eastern example below that, Eastern A300. This is the gray hockey stick. And this one does not have the Air Shuttle Plus sticker like my Aeroclassics example has. Aeromexico DC-10 orange polished livery with an American tail number. PSA 732, so speaking my language there with the last three retro releases. And a United 730-7300 Saul Bass, November 364 Uniform Alpha. KLM 734, and that one has the Northwest KLM sticker. Atlantis DC-8, looks like a German airline of some sort. Very interesting, never heard of this airline. But it does have a nice livery. Reminds me of the United Saul Bass in a way, just without a blue tone to it. There's a Samaritan's Purse DCA, which I did see a lot of coverage on that since it was retired recently. We have a Viasa Venezuela A300, and I do see a Northwest tail down there, and it is an A330-300, November 807 November Whiskey. And then we have a Sam's Town Western Pacific 733. Las Vegas, Kansas City, and some other city I can't tell, but it looks like some type of casino or something like that. And then we have the UEFA Champions League Qatar 777-300, the all-blue livery, which is very pretty. Hopefully I get to spot that one day. And then the last here is the Saudi 777-300ER, which has a special colors, Formula E, which, if you don't know, it's like it's Formula One, but essentially with like electric race cars instead of the standard cars that they have for Formula One. So they obviously have like a battery in them, and they run on a charge and all that stuff. I haven't seen much of like Formula E. I don't think they broadcast that here in the United States, but I do know that at least internationally they've got a decent following. So there is the fourth and final batch for this video. Again, I missed this while recording, but I did catch it during editing, so that way I've got it here in this video. So now I'll move back over to recap everything that we covered. So there we go. That's all the Inflight200 announcements, at least up to September 20th, the day I'm recording this, which will be the day before this comes out. So a good solid batch. I like to do these to where I can have, 3 Inflight200 batches from Waffles newsletter for every video. So that's kind of that'll be my policy moving forward. My official policy with these Inflight200 videos is to have 3 batches or so spaced out, probably 4 to 6 weeks, depending on when exactly that third batch gets announced, and then just wherever there's a good spot in my schedule I can fit it into. And as always, Inflight200 doing really good with their release choices, finding some interesting subjects and a couple fantasies to boot, because why not? You gotta love how they like to throw in a couple oddballs in there to keep you on your toes, especially for someone that's been covering releases for a long time now, and I've sort of diversified what I've covered and moved on to one of 200. I still want to do more stuff like Hobby Master and some of the fighter jets in kind of that area. I just need to find a good source to cover those releases to where they are posted regularly and just fit that into my schedule as well. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.